Hello everyone. My husband and I have been married for 4 years and together for 6, and this is the very first huge argument we've ever had. I, F24, am currently 33 weeks pregnant with his, M31, baby. When I was 20 weeks pregnant, my doctor diagnosed me with placenta previa, which if you don't know is basically when the placenta for my baby is covering the opening in my cervix. They told me it would likely move as my baby grew, but it never did. So I am scheduled for a C-section in just 3 weeks. At 20 weeks I was put on very light restrictions, but at 30 I got put on heavier restrictions, like no running, no lifting or climbing, no standing for longer than 3 hours at a time, and most importantly no sex and no vaginal exams. Because my doctor told me that we want absolutely nothing to potentially make me bleed, which could lead to preterm birth. So I have been doing this all for 3 weeks, but it has been driving my husband fucking insane. Every single day he bothers me for sex. Every single day. Every single day I tell him I can't, and remind him of the restrictions. I don't even want to have sex anyway, my tummy is so big and I am always exhausted. He doesn't really like those answers. Finally he came to me and started going on about how doctors sometimes dramatize things for the sake of their careers and more money. He said they push for C-sections. I was like, okay, whatever, but I know that I have this condition. Obviously I'm going to follow the rules. He didn't take the answer and we ended up having sex. For a few hours after, I was having really heavy bleeding and I got so scared. I was crying in the bathroom, trying to figure out what to do. I ended up calling my doctor and she told me to come in right away. The whole car ride there I was just sobbing, imagining that in an hour I would be having a C-section for an only 33-week-old baby. We quickly figured out that I am not in preterm labor, I was just bleeding and as long as it stops it will be okay. It did and I am fine. But while I was there my doctor asked my husband to leave and started asking me questions. She asked me if I did anything I wasn't supposed to do. She was like, this isn't accusatory, it's okay, it's just better to know if it was caused by something or random. I told her that I had sex. She just went over all the things again and then gave me a bunch of information on domestic violence. She put them in my purse for me, literally. I was so embarrassed. When we got into the car I broke down and yelled at my husband, telling him to never do that to me again and telling him that my doctor knows more than him and knows what is best for me and the baby. He apologized and I could tell he really meant it. I have still been holding a grudge for days and he's been groveling for days. He asked me how long I was going to make him apologize. I told him at least until the baby is born. Ada for that? Comments. Oop clarifies the age gap / when they met. I was well out of high school when we met and dated. I graduated at 17, I was in college by the time we met. My family lives a few states away but we see them pretty often. Look at those pamphlets. I skimmed them when she gave them to me but they have since been thrown out. Commenter. Things don't get thrown out by magic fairies, someone throws them out. WHO threw them out? You, or your abuser who does not want you to read the important material in the pamphlets? Oop, well I put them with a bunch of other papers that we have laying around. I am sure he just went through them and threw out the unimportant ones. I don't think he did it on purpose or anything. Oop responds to people leaving resource links. Yes, I see them all in the comments and I am looking at them. I searched our recycling bin for the ones from my doctor but they're gone. Commenter. NTA, is this guy who lacks critical thinking skills able to hold down a job? Oop, he usually doesn't lack critical thinking skills. He's a police detective actually. Update 1. I wasn't originally going to make an update just because I was getting into specific detail about my life and I didn't want anyone I know in real life to find it. But I will because. I don't know why actually. I guess I just got some really good comments. I posted this about 7 hours ago and I cannot believe how many people have responded. I don't know if I could ever say thank you enough to such thoughtful strangers on the internet. So originally my plan was to tell my doctor and my SIL, maybe my brother, but I wasn't looking forward to discussing those details with him. I rescheduled my weekly appointment with my doctor for TMR. I know some people said I would be able to just walk in but I didn't want to do it and then have make some excuse to my husband. The comments made me realize the severity of the situation and honestly I am terrified. So I called my SIL when she got off work and we had a really long conversation. I mentioned in the comments but my SIL and brother have never really liked my husband, especially my SIL. She was very supportive and kind and we talked for a long time. I guess I can admit now that it wasn't just sex, it was rape. We talked about that more than anything else. And she cleared the whole confusion thing up very quickly. I told her a lot of the things my mom excused because she likes my husband, and my SIL was livid. I guess I kinda knew she always would be, which is why I never told her. She ended up telling me to talk to my doctor and she will talk to my brother and we will see what's going on. She said she will come down on the soonest flight, but my brother cannot come yet because they do have children of their own. I was content with that though, and my appointment with my doctor is tomorrow. So my husband got home kinda early and saw how I was upset. I really was planning on getting myself together before he came home but I did not have time. Still, I was not going to tell him anything but he was being so kind, which he really usually is. I know that's hard to believe but it's true, but today especially he was so kind and so worried about me. I know it was stupid to explain the situation but I did. I don't know why. I'm just used to telling him my problems, I guess. It was a mistake and I know that. I am really trying not to be so stupid anymore, but it's hard to switch from thinking about him as my loving and caring husband to my husband who is hurting me. So I told him that, and how he hurt me, and honestly I'm scared now. He was like, what? How? I said, by forcing me to have sex, by literally forcing my legs apart and telling me to calm down. He was like, oh my fucking god, don't fucking say that. That's a crime, do you understand that? Do you understand you just accused me of martial rape? And pushed me away from him. I started to apologize, and he started to say it was okay and do that thing where he acts like I'm dumb again. So I finally like, yeah, actually, I really do understand that now. It isn't right and it is martial rape. It resulted in a huge argument, once again. He called me an idiot for even daring to say those words. I called him an abuser and he literally laughed. He was like, who are you talking to? You don't know what you're talking about, and started to go on and on about things I don't know about. He said sex with his wife isn't rape, no matter how you split it. I ended up trying to just walk away, but he grabbed me by my wrist. I snatched my hand away and he held up his hands, was like, oh I'm sorry, that might be considered battery of a pregnant woman, if we're going by your definitions. The condescending tone is what really drove me to the edge, and I told him I don't want to be around him. He was like, fine, I'll go. I said, no, I want to go. I want to be away from you. He threw the credit card at me and told me to go get a hotel then. So I did. And here I am, typing this now. And my SIL is on her way right now, but I am so far from okay. He's called me several times but I won't answer. I've never seen him that angry before. I am slightly concerned what he will do if I genuinely tell him I want to leave and take the baby. He is the one who wanted to have a child, and I was convinced. It won't let me take her easily, and that terrifies me. Every time my daughter kicks I just want to sob. I never thought that my own baby would make me cry like this. But I am just so scared. Comments. Commenter. If it's his credit card, he can track your hotel and even ask information on behalf of the credit card. Please be aware and be safe. Edit. Seems like Op's husband is a cop. Oop. It is his card, but I told the hotel what was going on and they seem to understand. My SIL will be here soon, so it's just tonight I'll be alone. Commenter. The hotel clerk cannot legally tell him what room she is staying in. I've been through this. Oop. Yes, this is what they told me. I talked to the manager and he told me don't worry. He cannot legally tell anyone where I am staying, or what room. Even if my husband did try to use his shield, still not legal unless they have the proper documentation, which obviously he would not. Commenter. Can you leave and move in with your brother and SIL? Have the baby at a hospital near them? Once you have the baby and can guarantee he'll make your life tricky and won't let you leave the state. You need to get to somewhere you have a support network and safety before you have the baby. Oop, that is my plan. All night I've been having bleeding and Braxton Hicks, for the first time ever. I am literally terrified to be here alone or to go into preterm labor alone. I am trying hard to not engage with my husband, but I'm so fucking scared, lol. The post going viral and being at the top and husband finding it. Thank you very much for pointing this out, I was not aware. I don't think either of them are at a risk to find it, but even if they did, I don't think I've said anything too specific. Commenter. It must be a terrifying thought that someone who you loved, and thought loved you back, let his mask slip and shows you what kind of person he really is when you try to stand up for yourself. Oop, it is terrifying. It's so strange that the moment I said a word he didn't like, he was meaner and worse than I've ever seen him. Commenter. She should go to a lawyer. A lawyer will have a much better idea of how to report it in such a way that it can't be rug swept. Oop, I am already doing this. I want to have my daughter in my home state, but I am not sure how that works, and I am scared to do something wrong and give my husband leverage to take her. I am really trying my best. I only have less than 3 weeks to get somewhere and I'm just stressed and scared. I also know he never allow me to have the baby or C-section on my own. He will be there. And I just don't know how to deal with that. Update 2. This one is quick, and for the people who wanted me to verify that I am okay less than 3, I genuinely don't know what to say about the amount of support I got. Thank you so very much. August 7th I posted my update, and I mentioned having Braxton Hicks for the first time. I was urged to go to the hospital. I originally wasn't going to, but thank goodness that I did, because by the time I walked in the door, I was bleeding so heavily it was down my legs. Turns out I had a placental abruption. August 7th at 10:37 p.m., my daughter was born via emergency C-section. She is now only less than old as I post this, but I am being forced to deal with an attorney and all of this already. She was only 33 weeks and 5 days when she was born. She is tiny, but still doing relatively well, so they tell me. She is in the NICU now and I am in the hospital still as well. I have received lots of care, and while it is all scary and hard, seeing my daughter makes it better. I'm fine, I will be fine, and so will she. The nurses here are amazing, and the doctor told me as long as everything goes well, I get to take my daughter home in just a few weeks, less than 3. As for my situation, my SIL came shortly after my daughter was born and she's been by my side all day and very supportive. The attorney advised us to allow my husband visitation with my daughter while she is still in the NICU, so I did. I do not have a concern of him hurting our daughter while in the hospital or anything like that. I have received lots of supportive messages from his coworkers and his side of the family, so I am sure he is spinning the story that we are together and everything is fine. He is trying to act like that too. He's seen our daughter several times today and I think that he was in the hospital with me during the C-section, but I am honestly not sure. He came up to my room this morning while the nurses were helping me take that first walk after the C-section. I was just emotional enough to let him in. I have to be honest and say it wasn't easy to try and hate him after all of this. I still let him comfort me and I still cried to him. But at the end when he said you wouldn't have had to do this alone if you weren't acting that way and grabbed my face to make me kiss him, it reminded me of why exactly I am doing this. So yeah, I am not so sure what I'm going to do. Originally I really wanted to have my daughter in my home state so that I could stay there with her and my sil and brother, but I highly doubt my husband will allow me to take her there. My attorney says I have options, and the options are heavily in my favor, as I did what you all suggested and got the medical records of the rapes, including the one I posted about and 2 more I went to the hospital for over the years, as well as in writing my doctor saying that my placental abruption was likely caused by trauma and stress, for custody and stuff like that, but likely only here where we currently live. Honestly, that's okay. Being able to briefly hold my baby and seeing her and loving her so much has replaced much else in my mind. I want to be safe, but I want her safe most of all. I won't do anything to put her in the situation I was in. She is only 16 hours old and she is all I think about, and will ever think about for the rest of my life. I probably won't update again, as I am hoping they will let me spend more time with my daughter soon, but I just wanted to say that this whole post literally changed my life, and I cannot say thank you enough. If anyone else finds themselves in this sort of situation, I want to say do not be scared to speak up. And if anyone has survived it, you're so brave. Thank you. Less than 3 comments. Commenter, op. Ask your nurse for a social worker to help you out, especially with your baby being in the NICU. Tell the social worker all about this stuff. Depending on which state you're in, they can be a fantastic resource and can put you in contact with shelters that take in new moms. Not every DV shelter is a good place for a new baby, especially a NICU baby that was born during an abruption. Oop, I already have Smile. We have a whole plan already for when she gets out of the NICU. Also, I saw people really worried about me because of finances and stuff, but I'm going to be okay. I actually still do have a job. I was just on leave because of the baby, and a stable career and actually quite a bit of savings. I never let him take that from me. Or her. Commenter, do you know how long your sil will be staying with you? Oop, we aren't really sure at the moment because she also has children back home, but she promised that either her or my brother will be with me for as long as I need them. She said they will take turns coming back and forth. They're literally my angels. Less than 3 commenter, husband was in the surgical theater with her. Husband was visiting within a day and walking her around the unit. She believes husband thinks they're still together because of messages from his friends and family, but says nothing to disabuse him if this. He forced a kiss on her in her hospital room. No mention of being thrown out of the hospital for continuing the sexual assault that put her in it in the first place. She has made no indication of where she will go after leaving the hospital, besides I was going to go to other state, but now I'm not sure. She doesn't have a concrete plan for getting out. Frown. Oop. The hospital called him before I could say don't. But it honestly wasn't the biggest concern for me at the moment because I literally had liters of blood at my feet. Commenter, info, why did he touch your stomach? Did he purposely hurt your incision? Oop, when he realized it hurt he snatched his hand back and was like I'm sorry, I forgot I'm used to it because he would touch my tummy a lot when I was pregnant. It seemed genuine, but so did every other apology. I'm sure it was on purpose, it was the exact area I had previously had my hand to sit down. Commenter, remember that you're literally only in this position getting an emergency C-section and watching your child fight for survival in the NICU because he raped you despite knowing there was a high chance it would hurt you and your unborn child because him getting his dick wet is the only thing he cared about. He doesn't give a shit about you or your child. You are possessions to him for him to do with what he pleases. Do not let this man anywhere near you. Oop, I know. Every time I see her or think about her, that's what I think about. During the C-section they didn't let me see her, they just took her away so fast. In my head all I was thinking was she's dead or dying and it's his fault entirely. Trust me when I say I am not going back. Commenter, I am glad you are okay op, and I guess more is seeping out. I was surprised now to see you mention the other rapes or other times. It seemed like in your post this was a totally isolated incident. I am happy you are getting out. The mention of that just further affirms it. Oop, there were a lot of other times. 3 I went to the hospital for, including the one I posted about. I was just scared and confused and not well informed. Tell the lawyer about this post, I already did. She said all is good as long I don't say my name, his name, her name, baby's name, or firm, or any advice that isn't accessible on the internet. One more thought from Oop, no of course I understand. Trust me. I should have left when I was 19, the first time he hurt me. But I didn't. But I am now because it really is more than just me, it's her too.